So welcome back. So sorry if I yawned during this video, just a little disclaimer. I'm really tired. I'm going to bed after I'm done with this. So anyways, we're gonna get into a little spooky story of mine. So I have ghosts following me around. You know, I know this sounds fake to you guys, but I will explain everything. So ever since I was little, I would say around 5, 6 years old, I had ghosts following me. I didn't know it at the time, but looking back and talking about it with my sister and everything, I know what it is. So, when I was little, my sister used to babysit me from when I was 6 till I was 10. So around 6 to 10, my sister babysat me. Before then, I had a babysitter, but that's irrelevant. So when I was 6, I started being babysat by my sister. And one day, it was a few months after she started babysitting me, we went downstairs and we heard a crash from upstairs. It's really weird because my parents were not home and it was just me and my sister there at the house. So we went upstairs and we found our coat rack slash hat rack on the ground, and it was broken. So the coat rack is a large piece of wood and it has multiple places to hang stuff. Hold on. You do not understand how scary it is to get a phone call while I'm telling this story. Oh my god, that terrified me. Okay, so anyways, we go upstairs and our hat rack is broken in half. And the thing about it is it's a large, thick piece of wood. Like, me and my sister could not move it at all. It was so heavy. So there's like 5 or 6 places to hang stuff on it, and they were pretty big so that you can hang more than one jacket on it. So when we go downstairs and we hear the crash, we run upstairs and it's like broken right in the middle, and it's bent and it's broken. It's bad. So we end up telling our dad when we get home. He moves it down to the basement. He thinks nothing of it. We think nothing of it. But that's when she told me this story. At the time, I didn't believe it. There were 5 ghosts in our house. Sarah, TJ, James. I don't know the 4th one, but I'll call my sister in a little bit and ask. And so we had Sarah, James, TJ, Taylor, and someone we did not know, who I actually now know is actually named Zozo. I'll get into that in another video. He's a completely different story. I will explain him later on, because that's my sister's fault. Okay. Anyways, getting back into it. So these 4 ghosts, I'm not including Zozo right now because he did not come until later. So these 4 ghosts are, I don't know the word, I think it's malevolent for bad and benevolent for good. But these 4 ghosts are good. They, no, these 3 ghosts are good. TJ was actually bad. He had been killed many years ago, and he was a malevolent spirit. I can't remember the name. Anyway, so Sarah, James, and Taylor were all good. So my sister told me that when we were little, TJ was a ghost, and he was scary. Now, ever since I was little, I claim I could see ghosts, and I still can. I still see ghosts, but I don't know if it's not real or not, but I know at night when I sleep, I see ghosts in my sleep. I don't know if it's weird, I don't know if it's not, but I talk to ghosts in my sleep. And it's not a dream. I know it's not a dream because we have full conversations and I lucid dream. Okay? I learned how to lucid dream, and that's how I sleep. So I know it's actually happening. So Brittany tells me that TJ knocked over the coat rack. At the time, I did not believe her. But a few, let's say a few years later, I'm sleeping, and this is after I've learned how to lucid dream. I'm 11 at the time, I think. And my sister stopped babysitting me, so she's going off doing her own thing. She's 16, so she has a job, and she has her permit. She didn't have her license yet, she had her permit. And she has a job over at a store. And my dad works. My parents are divorced at this point. And the first part with the coat rack, my parents were not divorced. They were still married. But in this story, this part of the story, they were divorced. Because they divorced when I was 7. So when I was 11, I was down in the basement because that's where my bedroom was at the time. My bedroom was upstairs. Yes, my bedroom was upstairs, but I was sleeping in my sister's bedroom because she had not moved out yet. So I'm sleeping in my sister's room because I love her bedroom. It's a lot cooler. It was maybe around summer, I think. It was like July, August. So it was really, really hot in our house. And so I was down in the basement where it was a lot cooler. So I was in my sister's room and I was napping. And I had a dream. And I lucid dream. And I talked to ghosts in my sleep. So I'm talking to this person. And he's explaining his story about how he died. And he's saying he was murdered in his sleep at his home. I found out that his home is where I live, but I did not find out till later on. So I will not tell you where I live, by the way, because that's invasion of privacy. But he said that he was killed in my home. Well, that was later on. Yeah, sorry, that's later on. He said he was killed in his sleep, and his name I did not know at the time. He had told me at the end of my dream. I think I woke up after he told me his name. So he was telling me how he was shot in his sleep, how he was not married, he was single. He had just bought the home a few months prior, and someone came to rob him, and they didn't know that he was home because he didn't have a car in the driveway because he didn't own a car. He had spent all his money on this home, and he was killed. It was a robbery gone wrong. And he had been shot once in the head, once in the stomach. So the guy left, and I don't think they ever caught the guy, but they might have. But in my sleep, I asked him what his name is, because that's something I've always done is I've asked their names. I don't really feel comfortable knowing how they died without knowing who they are. It's kind of a weird thing. I'm terrified by my shadow right now. That's terrifying me. It's really, really scary. Sorry, I'm fixing my light. There we go. Let's light that up. Lit, yo. No. Okay. So, TJ is around 20, maybe 22. And that was just my guess. I didn't know his actual age when he died or now. I don't know how long ago this was. I know it was before my aunt owned the house, so it had to be over 20 years ago. So, I ask him his name, and he tells me his name is TJ. That's all he told me. He didn't tell me a last name, a middle name, a first name. He just told me TJ. So, at that point, I wake up, and I knew exactly who he was. And I didn't want to believe it, because my sister told me about TJ when I was little, and I did not want to believe he existed. And that's actually when I realized he was killed in my home. Because, you know, when you hear about ghosts, they say, oh, they only haunt the people, they only haunt their old houses. And if he was killed in his home, he should be haunting his home, correct? He was haunting my home, which meant he was killed in my home. Which is a terrifying thing to think. I mean, my dad's constantly working. I'm so scared right now. I'm home alone. I'm so freaking scared. I'm home alone right now. I'm waiting for my stepdad to come home. He should be home soon. And I'm waiting for my mom to come home, and I'm so terrified because my dog keeps walking up and down the hall, and I'm so scared that it's going to be a person next time, and I'm not going to look, I'm going to get murdered on video. But hey, good views! I'm so fucking scared. Anyways, so TJ, he was killed in my home, in which is a very, very scary thing to hear, because we did not live in a very fancy home. We were not rich. We did not have a lot of fancy things. So him being killed in my home was kind of scary for me, because that means it could happen to anyone. We didn't live in a particularly rich neighborhood, but we weren't poor. We were comfortable. So, getting on with TJ, after that, a lot more things started happening. Lights would turn on, I'd hear water going through and there's none, I would hear doors close. But my dad always shut it down saying, oh, it's just the wind, it's just the house settling you're hearing, blah, blah, blah. But I knew what I was hearing. I would hear footsteps, I would hear doors close, lights turn on, lights turn off. I would see, lights turn on, I would hear water going off, but there's no water in the house. I just knew there was something wrong there. And I never figured out what it was, or what he wanted, or why he was still around. Because when ghosts are still around, it means they have unfinished business, correct? Well, what was his unfinished business? Why was he haunting my home? So I actually never found out why he was haunting my house. And I still to this day have no idea. He's still in that home. I moved out of it, and I don't think he's followed me. I know one of them did, and that was Sarah, and I will explain her in a later video. But TJ, Taylor, and James stayed in the old home we lived in. And Sarah followed me. And I will explain her in a later video because she's something else. And I don't think you're going to believe me when I tell you kind of things she did because she was a lot different. But she was a lot of fun. I enjoyed Sarah. She was like my childhood best friend. She was a friend of mine, really. People thought it was an imaginary friend. But you know the saying how kids can see ghosts? I used to talk to her. And I'll explain her in a later video. Anyways, so that was my story of TJ. It wasn't too scary, but it was scary for me because he knocked over something that I could not even move. Like that coat rack thingy, it was so heavy I could not even tip it or tilt it. Whenever I would try, I couldn't move it when I was little. So knowing he could full force knock it over terrified me. And actually, there's something I forgot to mention. I had sleep paralysis because of him. After I had woken up from TJ's dream, I actually forgot to mention this. It's something I really wanted to repress and forget about. But when I woke up from that dream with TJ, I couldn't move. I could breathe fine, but I could not move my arms, my legs, my back. It felt like something was pushing me down. And I knew in that moment TJ had talked to me, or he didn't want me to know, and I somehow figured it out and found out during that whole conversation with him in my dream. And somehow he didn't want me to, or maybe he did, and he just didn't want me to tell anyone or do anything, and he paralyzed me in that bed. Sorry about that, it's allergy season for me. And that lasted for, I think, an hour, maybe, and I finally was able to slowly get movement back. I had it in my toes, and then my feet, then my ankles, then my legs, then, you know, my hips, and then my fingers, then my arms, and fully I could get back up. I'm just really sorry, guys. It's so bad allergy season right now, and I'm going all over the place. So that was my sleep paralysis story. I have actually another sleep paralysis story, which is a lot scarier, and I will explain that one in a later video, because that goes along with Zozo, and that goes along with a Ouija board story. So I'll have to explain that later on, but that's my story of my malevolent ghost. Oh my god, my laundry's done, and that terrified me. I just jumped out of my skin. Anyways, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please comment down below if you want to hear part 2 and what you want that part to be. Do you want it to be about my Ouija board and Zozo story? Or do you want that to be about Sarah? It'll probably end up being about Sarah because Zozo and a Ouija board leads to a long conversation which involves an old friend that I have to get in contact with if I can find her phone number. And I have to call her and ask permission because she's involved in it. But anyways, that's it for this video. Thank you all. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Subscribe right there. My latest video over there. Your best for viewer down here. And my playlist of all my videos. So, thank you all so much for being here. I love you all so much. Bye.